What up, guys? Welcome back to the review and discussion for UnOrdinary episode 258. This chapter is fucking nuts. It's insane. It's absolutely insane because, like with every chapter that's been following ever since 255, shit keeps hitting the fan, and it's kind of scary actually. Anyway. So the episode immediately leads off where 257 end. Just like usual these last few chapters. So Blike immediately yells at John again and and Terrence says that he doesn't know what John's talking about, and John immediately snaps back and realizes his situation. He's just like, oh shit, I'm kind of fucking up right now. No one else knows what's going on right now. No, I'm gonna be honest. I'm a little inclined to think that this was John snapping himself back. Blike did kind of yell at him, but, for me personally, I think this was more of a situation of John, because John is definitely furious right now because he knows Terrence is suspicious and everything. So, I just personally think that John kind of realized he was getting a little too angry, and he looked at the people around him, and he decided ground himself a little bit more. Like I said, Blike, I don't think Blike helped in this situation. Anyway, so John realizes, he's fucking up. He then tells Isen to keep an eye on Terrence, and he shoves Terrence over to Isen. And then he just walks over to Blike and tells him that they need to talk. And of course, Blike is absolutely skeptical. He even mentions I thought he was changing, but then he pulls this shit. I thought he was starting to get better. Now, one thing that I did really like about this chapter is that Isen vouches for John. Isen starts piecing things together on his side, and he's just okay. And, he pieces together that John has probably learned about Terrence's connections and everything. So, good job on Isen. Credit to where it's due, like I mentioned in the reaction. He vouched for John when he should have. He wasn't just passive about it. He wasn't kind of just like he normally is. He was kind of oh snap, John's piecing, John knows. He knows that we've been looking into Terrence, and he tells Blike hey, hear him out. I'll take care of things here. So, good job, Isen. Now, this next part is it's kind of weird. The timing is kind of weird. I feel like. So, clock shows at 10:05 a.m. and considering that next shot is Arlo pulling Remi alongside downtown Rowden because he's about to fill her in and everything. Now, when we see them next, it's 10:05. And Arlo has been pulling Remi for close to 10 minutes after he texted Sera, supposedly, not telling her anything. Because, her immediate, reaction after we get back to her is yo, stop, what the hell's going on? What's wrong? Why are you acting so suspicious? But it gets even weirder because, like I said, it was 10 minutes after he texted Sera about the Blike and John update. And if I'm not mistaken, it's been 20 minutes that he's been pulling Remi since they left the store. And I just think it's a little weird that I'm supposed to believe that Arlo has literally dragged Remi for 20 minutes out in downtown Rowden without telling her anything while texting Sera. I just think that's a little strange. Anyway, Remi asks Arlo what's going on. He updates her about her and Blike possibly being targets for Spectre. And then Remi starts to piece everything together herself, contemplating everyone being separated as they begin to head to Rowden Hill. And again, Arlo tells Remi that he'll explain everything to her, how they because she asks him how do you know about all this? How do you know these people are after us? What has been going on? And Blike, and he's yeah, me, Sera, and John have been, we've been looking into this whole thing. And Remi's oh my god, that's why you guys have been so friendly lately. And that was just funny. Like, you know, like I said, Remi knows that Arlo and John aren't friends. Anyway, so yeah, Arlo tells Remi that he's going to explain the entire situation to her while they head to Rowden. And how are they going to do that while they're in a taxi, actually? That seems like a really bad idea. Yo, Arlo, just pull the high tier card, get a taxi, but then be like, I'm driving this taxi. High tier privilege. Anyway. Now, we're probably going to be seeing that. I hope we see it. Like, I honestly wouldn't mind like a little conversation between Arlo and Remi. Like, where he is, like, after he explains the whole situation to her. I'd prefer that, actually. Anyway, so I think we're going to be seeing that in episode 259. It's 10:07 a.m. and Sera not having any of it. She knocks everyone the fuck out of the van. Like, Tech, Telepath, Rowden all go flying. And I think that Rowden may be the only conscious member in this scenario, because like we clearly don't know for certain. Like, Udo made it a point to show that like he was still conscious, but like Tech and Telepath were still just on the floor, just like but then Sera then warns Rowden that if anything happens on the mountain, there will be hell to pay. She gets in the van, she gets in the van, buckles up, safety first, kids. And Arlo calls and she answers, and they both agree to meet at Rowden Hill and head out. And Arlo tells her that him and Remi will be there around 11, and Sera says that she's going to meet them there. Now, that's important for later. So, 10:27, John tells Blike about Spectre, and Blike clearly, like, fairly does not believe him. Like, he's just like, yeah, you're hilarious. Like, whatever. I'm going back to everyone else. And John tells Blike, like, listen, like, shut up. Like, just listen. He tells him that he's only on the trip for this reason, not to have fun. But I'm going to be honest, like, let's be real. John has been having fun. Like, he has. Like, in his own way, but, like, John, like, hasn't had a horrible time while he's here. He got to hang out with Sera at Rowden Park. You know, he made it an effort to, like, even when, like, Sera wasn't there, like, he made it a point to, like, go hang out with Evie and everyone. So, like, John's trying. Like, he's having fun. I refuse to believe for a second that he's not. Anyway. So, he also mentions that this is what he mentioned to Blike back in episode 240, where he tells Blike, like, something's going to happen on the trip and I want to be there. And he then tells John that he's only looking after everyone for Sera. And I can believe that. I can believe that John doesn't really necessarily, because even when he's not, he's looking after Blike begrudgingly. Like, even when he, like, agreed to help, he didn't want to look after Blike. But, you know, Sera, like, told him, like, do you want to help or not? And John swallowed his pride and was just like, yes, I want to help. Like, I do want to help. And so I can believe that, you know, John is doing this for Sera, not for the others. And but I do think it's definitely possible that it could grow into wanting to help the others. So anyway, John then levels with Blike and mentions that he doesn't have to believe him, but that he just needs Blike to keep an eye on Terrence and get somewhere that isn't cut off from everywhere. And so, like, he then just tells Blike, like, I don't want anything else. Like, just please make yourself safer. Like, this kid is fucking suspicious. And Blike just kind of like, Anyway, so 10:33, we're back at the group, and Terrence is right next to Isen, but Terrence is keeping an eye on Isen, not the other way around. This is important. We don't actually know if Isen is keeping an eye on Terrence, but we definitely see, like, Terrence is the one, like, looking over at Isen a lot. Now, this is important, because next, Blike is kind of preoccupied with seeing John and Blike return, so he, like, walks over to them, leaves Terrence behind, and Blike tells everyone to pack up because there's been a change. There's been a change of plans. Like I said, this is important. 10:35 a.m. The dampener scanner shows back up, and it targets the entire group and gets activated. Terrence smirks, and he gets out of there. This is why that quick shot of him keeping an eye on Isen was important. because he was looking for his chance to run. He like knew at some point Isen had to slip up, and like I mentioned, Isen did great. Isen did fantastic this chapter, like telling Blike, hear John out. Just hear him out. I can take care of everything here. You do need to talk to him. But Isen definitely should have activated his ability to like scan the area for like, you know, people who are around, because Isen can see that. Isen can see people like now Isen can see people. Well, no, definitely within their radius, Isen should definitely be able to like have a scan of people and everything, because he used Hunter way back when they were looking for Sera after Wenki and everyone had kidnapped her. So yeah, I do think Isen definitely should have like, you know, activated his ability and like who's around, like anyone around, someone in the bushes. But unfortunately he didn't, and that's honestly not too big a deal. It's honestly not, well, it's a big deal, but like, you know, it's a minor slip in judgment. So yeah. So like I said, Terrence books it. Like, he's immediately gone, and John yells for someone to grab him, but, you know, he's already left, and the chapter ends. Now, I'm going to be real. Next chapter, John may, if they're not immediately attacked, John may freak out a bit and yell at Blike, like, why didn't you listen to me? Like, oh my God, like, you're such an idiot. Like, why didn't you listen? And, like, you know, John may freak out a little bit. And like I said, Isen definitely should have activated Hunter while keeping an eye on Terrence, but oh well. Now, two things right here. Terrence cannot go back to Wellston. He can't. He cannot. And Sera can't go back to Spectre. Now, unless the guy she did the mission for, the guy who took her ability, unless he leaves Spectre because he's got the amplifier, or unless Layla leaves so she can still treat, unless Layla leaves so she can still treat Spectre, or still treat Sera so she can still maintain her ability. Like, these two people cannot go back to their respective organizations. Terrence has no business being allowed back at Wellston now, unless, like, Uru's going to pull, like, oh, actually, Vaughn is part of Spectre. That's why Terrence is here. But I honestly really hope that's not the case. Like, Terrence can't go back. Like, I don't know about Remi. I don't think Arlo mentioned Terrence to Remi last episode. Regardless, 5 of the main characters know that Terrence has been up to something. Like, he can't go back. Like, Vaughn has to listen to, like, these 6 people. Or these 5 people. Like, he has to be like, yo, Terrence, like, this kid, like, he's working for some secret organization. Like, he's here as a spy for the school. Like, especially considering, like, how, like, Vaughn doesn't want anyone from the authorities to mess with Wellston. I highly doubt that, like, Vaughn would, like, ignore their concern and be like, oh, yo, this kid's a spy, like, let's get him the fuck out of here. But then again, Vaughn is also kind of passive about a lot of things too, looking back to, like, what happened with him and John. But Terrence and John are 2 completely different scenarios. Like, John just requested that his ability be kept private. Terrence has most likely entered Wellston with false documentation and a false ability level. That's all I'm saying. So, and Sera, yeah, like, Sera, she attacked, like, she fulfilled the mission. Yeah, maybe they want to keep her around because she is like a valuable asset, like Terrence mentioned. But, like, I think after the day, like, Sera definitely cannot go back to Spectre unless the faction that she was working for today, like, up and leaves. They're just like, haha, we got what we wanted, goodbye. I don't think Sera can go back. I don't think she should go back. Now, the boys' levels, because John, Blike, and Isen, as well as all the other students who are with them, are dampened now. So I'm not really gonna focus too much on like Evie or everyone, because, like, you know, we don't even know their abilities. We only know Evie's and we know Terrence. But so John's current level, a 3.8. It was a 3.75 when he got dampened. That's half of his 7.5. Now, I do believe we round up with abilities, which is why I rounded up to a 3.8. Meanwhile, we know that John is stronger than Zirian. We know that John is stronger than Zirian when he challenged Zirian. So maybe John can still get the amp for the ability. Maybe he's still able to access that as an elite tier. Blike 2.5 exactly. Isen is a 2.2. They are both mid tiers now. That's kind of a bit scary, but then again, Arlo or John and Isen, or no, sorry, John, Blike, and Isen are they have a strong elite tier with them. They have a strong elite tier with them, John, and that's honestly a bit better than what Arlo, Layla, and Sera had. They had a mid-tier god tier, Layla, I think Layla was still a mid-tier god tier, and Sera was a cripple at that time. Now, they're also at a disadvantage because, you know, they have the 2.5, they have the two mid-tiers now who are considerably weaker than the god tier mid-tiers. But I think they will still be in good standing just because they do have John with them. I do believe, you know, based on what we saw previously in the series, back when John's apartment was broken into, John can still carry at least 2 abilities right now because he had Arlo's barrier and he had whatever the Spectre person's ability was. Now, like, John is familiar with this situation. It may have been a while. It's been a while. It's definitely been a while since he's been in this situation. But John should immediately tell Blike and Isen, activate your abilities now. Give me your abilities. Give me your abilities. Activate them now. And yeah, I think they can definitely come out on top. I think it's definitely possible that they come out on top in this situation. Now, Sera and the others most likely can't get to everyone in time since they still have 25 minutes to go. And this fight may be epic, but next chapter may also be, like, you know, talking with Remi and Arlo, like, you know, like, Remi kind of like being like, oh my god, what? Like, Terrence, oh my god. And I want to see that. You know, Sera talking things through herself, or maybe Layla even calls her, like, Sera, what the fuck did you just do? What happened? Because Rowden's still alive. Like, Rowden's probably reporting this shit right now. And at the same time, but yeah, like, considering we don't know exactly how long the dampener lasts, but I can't imagine that the situation back at John's apartment when they tried to kidnap Sera, I can't imagine that was a half hour of time. Like, the dampener, like, probably, like, they made it a point to say, like, the dampener does not last that long. I brought up in my reaction, I honestly wouldn't mind if the dampener has been upgraded off screen to last longer. But yeah, I do think by the time the other 3 show up, the situation will be resolved, or not resolved, but like Spectre may be gone. Yeah, and they just have to catch up and, like, you know, get everyone back to safety. Now at the same time, highly unlikely, but, you know, still possible. Like, let's say it's not possible at all. Spectre may also just pull up and just be like, yo, chill, we ain't here to take abilities or start fights. Like, let's just talk, guys. Like, we just want to recruit Blike. We just want Blike to be part of Spectre. Like, you know, Blike's like, you know, Blike's a good guy. Like, you know, we just want to recruit him. And, like, you know, Isen, John, like, you know, like, you guys are kind of crazy, but, like, we'll recruit you too. Like we're not here to start fights. We're here to talk. Let's just talk. I don't think that's going to happen. Like, I don't think that's going to happen at all, considering what Spectre's done. But, you know, it could be possible. Like, they could just be like, hey, we're not here to take abilities. We're not here to, like, fight you guys. Let's just talk things out. Let's calm down. You guys are dampened. We can still fuck you up. But, like, you know, let's talk things out. We're nice guys. I don't know. But yeah, that's going to be it. Honestly, this chapter was a wild ride. This chapter towards the end was completely like, oh my god, it's happening. No. Um, and I got to give this chapter a 9.1. Give this chapter the old Jane Doe. This was a really good chapter, but definitely not the greatest chapter. It's good setup. Uno just keeps giving us consistently good setup chapters, which is perfectly fine. Perfectly fine because the chapters and the story is like still doing very well. But yeah, those are my thoughts for this reaction, or for this episode. So yeah, let me know what you guys thought down below. I'm excited to see what episode 259 is looking like tonight. So yeah, I hope to see you guys there. And as always, guys, see you, Space Cowboy.